Hey guys, today I'm talking about finding your pelvic floor. I know, hang with me. We've talked about breathing, alignment, our pelvic floor in the past, and I'm going to teach you one little trick. The big thing is that our pelvic floor does not work in isolation. It's part of our inner core team, our diaphragm, our pelvic floor, our deep transverse abdominis, and our multifidi that run alongside our spine. So everything is our nice core canister, keeps us nice and supported. So even before we move, our pelvic floor and our diaphragm setting up to provide us with that central stability before we take a movement or before we perform an exercise. But I'm going to go through a way that we can properly find our pelvic floor. So I want you to stand up in what is considered neutral to you. So as you stand, you're going to kind of shift your feet, shift around in your feet and lean forward, lean back. And I want you to find what feels natural to you and where you feel the weight distribution in your feet. Okay, so now I want you to shift into your heels. Shift into your heels so your booty tends to want to clench to support you so you don't fall. And I want you to do a pelvic floor contraction, so that lift up and in. Okay, now I want you to lean forward into your toes. Don't let your heels come off the ground, but lean forward into your toes and do that same pelvic floor contraction. Okay, now come back to center. So one of the things I wanted to emphasize is that our pelvic floor can be considered like two halves. The back half controls our anus. So if someone said, like you're gonna prevent yourself from passing gas in an elevator, that's kind of the back side. The front side controls our urethral and our vaginal canal. So there's that front side of the pelvic floor and the back side. What's really common though for women is that when we do a pelvic floor contraction, that up and in, we tend to squeeze the backside, which is what you felt when you shifted into your heels. Why? Because we often find ourselves in this position. Our booty's tucked under, we're shifted back, so we feel that squeeze along that back half of our pelvic floor. The problem with that is when I'm shifted back, my diaphragm and my pelvic floor are not in an optimal position to support me and provide that stability before I complete a movement. So the ski jump, imagine you're an Olympic skier, is you're shifting the weight into your toes or into the front half of your body, kind of shifted forward. And when you do that pelvic floor contraction, that up and in, I've talked about the jellyfish before, and you do that contraction, that up and in, you're gonna tend to feel the front half. So what we wanna focus on, or what's a great exercise, is to actually do the ski jump and to lean forward so that you can experience what it feels like to do the up and in and engagement on the front side of the pelvic floor, because we tend to over-engage back here. So now we're gonna practice the front side. So now that we can tune in and kind of build awareness on the front side of the pelvic floor. Now, the reason this is important is because if we over-engage through the backside, which is super common, I'm squeezing my glutes, I'm doing a pelvic floor contraction, I'm mainly just activating through the backside of my pelvic floor. So if that's what you begin to associate with a Kegel, let's say you have to prepare for a cough or a sneeze and you do your pelvic floor contraction to prepare yourself, you're squeezing the backside and not the front side, which controls your vaginal and urethral opening where the pee comes out. So that might be why you experience some leaking. So we're gonna try the ski jump exercise where we're leaning forward like we are that Olympic skier, and we're going to perform that pelvic floor contraction. Where that translates to your fitness, I don't know if you've seen in my stories, I can wrap a band around something sturdy. I climb into the band and I'm going to lean, let the band kind of situate on my heels. I lean back and I squeeze at the top. This is one exercise and a way we can integrate it into fitness where we can really feel and activate through the front side of our pelvic floor. So I hope that's one little exercise that we can incorporate through our movements, and I hope to bring you some more ideas soon.